Hello and thanks for stopping by. This is Adventure 3 for the Commodore 64, written by John O'Hare and released in 1982. Adventure 3 is a text-based game that, nicely, gives you some basic instructions when the game first starts. I think a lot of text games kind of make you hang in the wind over what words you need to use, but here they at least give us some basic instructions up front, which is nice. They want us to use two-word commands with a verb and a noun. Okay, I'm all for instructions. This would be useful information to have. Good. Adventure 3 is basically about a haunted mansion, and the goal of the game is to recover 20 treasures and return them to the proper place. This is similar, of course, to the game Zork, which had the same basic premise. You find treasures, and you have to return them somewhere. It's also pretty nice here, they give you an option to save your game. You can type save game and enter a file name, although if you're on the C64 Mini or the C64 full-sized, you just use a save state for the system. I suppose I have the same basic problem that I experienced when I played and reviewed the game Werewolf Simulator for the Commodore 64. The directions you have aren't logical. You start the game in a haunted forest. If you head north and keep going north, you will quickly wrap back around. This is not good for trying to write down directions. Basically, there's supposed to be a simple path to follow, but if you don't know what that path is, it's you just randomly moving around until you find your path. And I know they put it under the guise of, oh, you're trapped in a haunted forest, you're all confused. Yeah, okay, whatever. That's kind of tedious. So you wander forever until you finally see a mailbox, and basically there's a spooky house there. That's when the oddities of the game start popping up. There's a house here, and this is the only thing in the game so far that seems to be there for you to interact with. Okay, I got some items from the mailbox basically, and they of course want you to go into the house. I type use key on house because it has a locked padlock. And the response is, I don't have a gun. I type use key on house and it tells me that I don't have a gun. Okay. It's these little things that pop up in text games that throw me. I would have hoped somebody would have gone through some basic testing to prevent weird confusions like this. But of course this was made 30 years or so back, so what are you going to do? Okay, so the basic trick of this one, at least to start, you need to wander around the woods until you find the mailbox. That's your goal. Just wander around till you get the mailbox. I think you just go west at first and then maybe east, something like that. I've made it to the mailbox with just a few keystrokes, but not until I've played the game enough where I was wandering around for minutes trying to figure out where the mailbox is. So you find the mailbox, you open the mailbox, you need to look around and pick up what's in the mailbox. You're going to get letters, or a letter, and keys. It took me a while to find the mailbox at first. It was a hassle. Then from the mailbox, you just head south, and then that's you approaching the spooky house, and now this is sort of where the game really starts. There's a padlocked door, a doorbell, and a sign that gives you some instructions. If you type the word score when you're standing here, and you press enter, it will tell you what your score is. It's strange that when I do this for the first time, it tells me that I already have a score of 50 out of 350. I've not done anything at that stage, and I'm already at 50. Okay. It looks like the score can go down if you die, so maybe that's it. They had to give you something to start with. I suppose it's possible. I did find some annoyances with this game, and like a lot of text games, there's an annoyance with certain specifics. So I'm in a room with a wooden cross. Those are the words that the game told me, a wooden cross. If I say, take cross, it works. But if I say, take wooden cross, it doesn't work. That happened to me in a few different places for different items, and I find it annoying. So generally it seems the second word in the item is the important one. For instance, there is a Commodore PET computer. If you just type take PET, that's the correct command. You don't have to type take Commodore. Okay, so what I figured out with the game so far is that there are many items in the game that you want to get. Specifically, the items you want have an asterisk in front of them when they're in a room. That's really obvious, but okay. You need to race around the house, you get all these items when you run into them, and then you go out to the front of the house and you say, drop such and such an item. That's what raises your score. The biggest obstacle that you're going to experience in this game is this little ghost that follows you around. If it attacks you every few moments, eventually it can kill you and you get sent to purgatory. If you go to purgatory, all you do is you walk upwards to escape, which will put you back in the forest, and now you have to go through that stupid maze again, and it removes a little bit of your score. Fighting the ghost is the thing here, and you can only do that in one scenario, if you get the magic gun, and that doesn't always even work. The magic gun is an item on the first floor, and it's in a desk. The first time I found this, my inventory was full. So, this is what's important. When you pick up a few treasures, you gotta navigate all the way back outside and drop the items on the front porch to free up space. You need to be doing this constantly. It's you going back and forth, back and forth. So the ghost messed with me for a while, but when it did finally give me a break, I managed to start gathering items. It is unfortunate you have to go back and forth to pick up and drop items. That is a hassle. But on my first sit down, I managed to get 205 points, and that was before I had to head into the basement. After I went into the beginning of the basement anyway, I got up to 245 points. I have to say this game isn't as painful as some of the other text games I've played so far. I haven't beaten this one, but it's nice to be able to find things and have a score that goes upwards. I haven't found any puzzles in this one so far. Maybe I'm not noticing, but you walk into a room, the treasures are already there for the most part. You walk in, you see a treasure, you take it, and you go outside. I mean, I got to a stage in about an hour or so where I thought I found just about everything that was obvious. What I think most about this game is that there really isn't much description at all. There's usually half a sentence followed by the items listed in the room that you can pick up. Like, for instance, at the beginning, you see a spooky house. What a terrible description. You want me to fill in all the blanks here? These type of games are supposed to be you playing through a novel of some sort, so I'm going to expect you're going to at least set the scene with a couple of sentences. Your version of a spooky house is probably very different than my version of a spooky house. So what is it you want me to be seeing exactly? When you enter a room, you also see all the items without actually looking for them, and I find that odd. Sometimes you'll walk into a room, and sure, I expect some things are going to be obvious. But everything? I accrued 245 points, and that's after dying a few times, so my score would have been even higher. I scored that many points without actually having to search any room. I just walk into a room, and an item is listed there for me to take. Clear as day. There are silver candlesticks here, and they got a little asterisks next to them. Obviously, I have to take them. I suppose it's possible this game might have been created for a younger audience. But the ghost can kill you, and it sends you to purgatory or hell, so that doesn't seem like something you'd put in a kid's game. I did enjoy my time with this one, but it's really an overly simple text game. There are very few commands here, and there's not a lot of searching that has to go on. I did spend a few hours playing it, and then I played a few more hours because I had to collect footage for this video. It's okay, I think. It's bland for a text adventure game. The treasure is way too obvious to find, and for the most part, you just wander around and take items. Well, that's all I have for Adventure 3 for the Commodore 64. Obviously, there are 2 others in this series. I don't know, maybe I'll take a look eventually. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next time.